All right, we are here for the Week 3 press conference of Idaho Week with defensive coordinator, inside linebacker coach Peter Sirmon. We'll go ahead and get started. You can put your questions in the chat, and we'll start with Matt Moreno from Rivals. Go ahead, Matt.
I know last week you mentioned that you maybe tend to focus a little bit more on the negative than the positive, but what were your takeaways just from how your guys performed last week against Auburn?
First thing that comes to mind is I thought they played with really good toughness. They competed their tails off, which is, unfortunately something you hear when you fall short. But a lot of what we're asking our guys to do is compete, stand up, embrace that challenge. And in that regard, I was very proud of how they performed.
All right, next question is for Coach Sirmon. Go ahead and put your in the chat here. We'll go to Thomas Dunn from Right for California.
Good morning, Peter. What does Idaho quarterback and wide receiver Giovanni McCoy and Hayden Hatton show you on tape? Because they're a pretty dynamic duo that pretty likes to be game wreckers.
I'm growing to be a big fan of Giovanni McCoy. I was spending time last night watching his highlight film, his junior year high school highlight film. He is an efficient thrower. He's done a nice job of stepping in as a younger player last year. I think he's a huge challenge for us. They're going to throw the ball around. Like you said, Hayden Hatton, Jermaine Jackson, jersey number 1. Those are guys that I think almost accounted for 2,300 yards for him last year throwing the football. So those guys are definitely need to know where they're at. And all 3 of those are very talented players.
Thank you.
All right. If you have another question, we'll go back to Matt Moreno from Rivals.
How did you just assess the play of the defensive front? It felt like they're pretty active, getting in the backfield, making plays. How did you feel like they played Saturday? And what can you guys kind of build on from that performance?
Yeah, we had a lot of variety of run game. It felt like to me as calling the game, the Auburn kind of cycled through some different concepts. They started the game some downhill run, some two-polar kind of things. And then they ended up going to a little bit of what we referred to some more speed package, some 21 speed or 20 speed. And there was a little more of a horizontal run game that they presented. I thought the guys did a nice job of kind of adapting and kind of switching gears as they kind of changed how they were attacking us. But the things that we can take away from it is, I think we have a pretty talented defense, and the guys that are out there playing for the most part are doing exactly what we're asking them to do with good effort, with some violence to them on how they're finishing. I was really proud of how we separated the ball from the ball carrier a few times, and then the takeaways. I think we're at 7 takeaways for the year, which is a positive trend, and we just got to keep building on that. The 3rd and 4th downs, I think we're doing extremely well right now. I think we're at about, of those 2 down and distance, I think we're winning almost 80% of those as a defense through the first 2 games. So, those are things that, as you lead into the year, you're thinking about, the things that we need to improve on. And I've spoke a lot about explosive pass plays. We've had 3 on the year, and the next lowest in our conference right now is at 7. So it's we're doing some good things. We just have to go out and it's not the question, but we had a chance to win that game on the 10-play drive, and our defense has the capacity to do that. And I'd really love to see us step up and go ahead and try to finish that game out. I think we had some opportunities. We had a ball that I thought we could have caught. I think the quarterback threw an ill-advised throw near the sidelines. And then we had a 3rd and 17. And then we had a few other miscues later in that drive that I thought any one of those plays would have been very big for the team to get it through and to help us with the win.
All right, we'll go to Emmanuel Macedo from the Daily Cal.
Hi, good morning, Coach. We saw a lot of great play from the Cal secondary. It wasn't until that final Auburn scoring drive that they allowed that they gave up a lot of passing yards. So my question for you is, how do you kind of prepare for this team not to get sluggish towards the end of the game against against a really good Idaho offense, aerial offense?
Yeah, we just have to continue to play up to the level I think we're capable of. I don't know if, we got, sluggish at the end. The 3rd and 17, unfortunately, was a well caught, underthrown ball. So those are tough ones. And then, number 13 for them was a tough matchup on the fade ball in the back of the end zone. We just have to keep playing, and we're very, very aware of the challenges that Idaho is going to bring. They're a talented team. We just talked about, 2 of the receivers and the quarterback, but the run game is very talented as well. And I think the tight end, Teron Ivy, jersey number 8, first play of the game against Nevada. He showed the ability to go up and high point the ball, stay on his feet, and then he ran away from the entire defense. So we're very well aware of the skill they have and the challenges they'll bring.
All right, we'll go over to Thomas Dunn from Right for California.
Peter, when it comes to scouting principles, is there anything that you can take from seeing a dual threat quarterback like Robbie Ashford last week and applying it to Giovanni McCoy this week, even though they're very much different players, but in terms of their athleticism and what they can do?
There's so many college guys that are dual threat, some to greater capacity than others. And then some have the dual threat capacity, but within the system or the tolerance of the play caller or the head coach, they don't ask them to do as much. And sometimes that's a function of who plays behind them, what the quarterback needs to do in that offense to score points, how many playmakers you have to distribute the ball to, or are you a little bit light on playmakers and the quarterback has to kind of manifest himself into a runner and a thrower. I think Idaho's done a really nice job of assembling guys that can run the ball effectively. We talked about the tight ends, and then the wide receivers do a good job. So I see their style of offense is the quarterback is able to be a dual threat guy. However, I don't think that's the number one primary role of the quarterback in their system. I think the quarterback in their system is going to run the offense, is going to distribute the ball to the playmakers. And if things do break down, he does, more than capable of moving the sticks. It's just, everybody has a different philosophy on what they want to do with their quarterbacks in that situation.
Thank you.
All right, next one will be from Jeff Ferrato from the Cal Sports Report.
Peter, last week you played against a huge offensive line, I think a veteran group probably. Idaho's a little smaller and pretty young up front on the O-line. Is this a matchup you guys hope to be able to exploit?
The defensive line is always a matchup. We're always challenging our edge guys and our interior guys of trying to reestablish and set the line of scrimmage. And so that's always something that we're trying to focus on. The offensive line, the size, I think sometimes that's probably not as a big a factor as one might believe. Typically the lighter offensive lines aren't going to have some of the same run concepts that some of the heavier downhill running type of offensive lines have. So I think as offenses build to what they need, I think they play into the strengths of what their offensive line can do. And these guys they're a little bit lighter. I definitely wouldn't call them small. They just, they're going to do some different things. I think they're going to do a good job getting the ball in the perimeter. There was a little slow screen that comes to mind on Nevada, a little wide delay screen. The left guard got out there and blocked the point. He attached himself to a safety and covered him up. So, the stature is one thing, but if you can get in front of people, stay attached to people in their style of offense, I think they do a very effective job. And I think they're well suited on what the coaches are asking them to do.
All right, we'll go back to Matt Moreno from Rivals.
We obviously talked a lot about it towards the end of training camp, but the play of Caleb has been, what we kind of expected towards what he was showing towards the end of camp. What have you seen from him, and what's maybe that next level you want to see him reach now that he's kind of starting to establish himself?
Caleb has good tools, and Caleb, as we've all shared and talked about, has made tremendous progress from when he first arrived here due to a lot of different factors. I thought on Saturday night he showed the ability of making plays, literally sideline to sidelines. I think there were 4 or 5 different plays on the sidelines. I think the first third down play when he was responsible for popping that ball out. You see the range that he possesses. Where he needs to continue to develop is just we just need to keep getting him more opportunities, more experience. And there's only one way to gain experience. And that's where he's at right now. And he's done a good job of handling himself well. He is still young in the position. He wasn't a true behind the ball guy in high school. So every practice rep is important to him. Every game rep is important to him. And he has to continue to invest in himself and invest in the process of being the player that we think he can be.